Welcome to the Menopause Unplugged Podcast with me, your host, Nikki Oliveira. On this podcast, we will hear from women who are navigating the challenging and transformative journey of perimenopause and menopause. These women have graciously agreed to share their stories and insights, offering a raw and honest glimpse into what it's like to go through this major life transition. From hot flushes to rediscovering themselves, our guests will provide a wealth of knowledge and inspiration for anyone who's going through or will go through menopause. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and join us for a fascinating and enlightening discussion. Hello and welcome to the Menopause Unplugged podcast with me, your host, Nikki Oliveira. Today in the studio we have the lovely Sharon. How are you doing, Sharon? Okay?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Great. I'm so pleased to have you on the podcast. So Sharon is currently going through menopause at the moment, so perimenopausal. So Sharon, tell us a little bit more about how you first noticed your sort of menopausal symptoms.
Okay, thank you. This is exciting, and thank you for the opportunity to do this. So for me, this has been a journey of curiosity and discovery. I really had I didn't know anything about menopause about a year and a half ago, nothing at all. It was never spoken about in my circles. My mum never shared anything about her experience. So I felt like, it was January 2022. I just felt like I unravelled. And up until that point, I was just on autopilot. I think I was just, we were in lockdown, COVID, there was lots going on, and I really just thought my body was just exhausted. I was stressed out, and and I actually thought I maybe had a bit of seasonal affective disorder because I'd started to notice a pattern that my mood was really dropping in the winter months, and then I'd come back out again. So it was, January 2022. A situation happened and I got really irrational. I was like, right, that's it. I'm leaving. I've had enough. And it was thanks to a friend of a friend actually that said the words, "Do you think you're perimenopausal?" And I thought, no. I says, that's something that, like 50s, I'm 48 just now. So I was like, that's something that happens in your 50s. And no, I've still got my period. And she was like, oh, no, you can still be perimenopausal. And let's see if we can do you want to do this? I think it was a symptom tracker or something, or questionnaire.
Yeah.
So we did that, and I had about 15 of the 23 symptoms.
Oh,
So that was a real realisation for me, thinking, wow, okay, I don't know anything about this, but
yeah.
I can relate to all of this. So that was it. It was this journey then of discovery and
Yeah.
just trying to be curious about it all as well.
So what were the main sort of symptoms then, Sharon, that really kind of stood out for you that, oh my God, yeah, I've been experiencing that, and it's not just life, it's not just the stresses of life.
Yeah, it was to be honest, it was a lot of emotional and psychological, which I think a lot of women don't attribute to menopause. They think of, like hot flushes and maybe joint pain, sweats, sleep disturbances, which I do have, is the sleep disturbances. For me, it's brain fog, it's anxiety, being totally irrational, low moods, and just feeling at times like brain fog, just having a total moment of, what am I doing in this room? Where am I going? Why am I here? And it's things like when I go out driving in the evening as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I never used to bother about stuff like that, but now I'm like really hyper vigilant and quite stressed about it.
Yeah. Is it your spatial awareness as well, do you think, when driving? Because I feel like that often plays a part in it. Like you're not just your nighttime vision, but your kind of spatial awareness, like things like when you're parking and stuff.
Definitely, yeah, spatial awareness. And I was going to say there's also a bit of noise sensitivity. That's
Ah.
the new one that I've sort of noticed as well, like noises that I wouldn't usually batter an eyelid at. And now, like, if I went into a shop the other day and there was this little child just having an outburst, and normally I'd be very empathetic to the parent and be like, gosh, hope you get that sorted. But I was like, for fuck's sake, gonna shut up that. And then I was like, whoa, calm down. You know,
Emotions.
it just comes over me. I just like get totally carried away in that moment sometimes, and then it's like, right, breathe, come back to yourself.
Yeah.
That's been my main symptoms, like I said, is that psychological, emotional, more than I've had some joint pain, which was a bit debilitating as well, because it made me not want to exercise. I didn't want to move. I went down the physio route, so I went and got some exercises to do, and just nothing seemed to help. You know, I did that for about 3-4 months, I think, and it was still there, and they didn't know what to do with me.
Yeah.
They were just like, no, you're fine. You need to just keep doing the exercises, I suppose. So yeah, that was my main symptoms.
Yeah. Did you say to them at that point that, oh, I'm perimenopausal, or was that just not brought up into the conversation? Because that's quite interesting.
That's a good question, Nikki. Let me think. My memory is like, did I mention that? I don't know, but I have mentioned it recently to my dentist.
Oh, your dentist, right?
Yeah, because I've also got 2 wobbly teeth.
Mm.
And I had no idea that there was estrogen receptors in your mouth.
Yes.
And so I was like, why have I got this? And they were like, they're not sure. You've got like your receding gums. And when I mentioned to them that I was perimenopausal, and they were like, yep, okay, that could definitely. And I was like, oh, good. So you're actually, they were, yeah, they seemed to be more knowledgeable about it. And I can't remember from the physio, if I'm honest, if I had mentioned it or not, or if it was around the time where I wasn't sure. I can't remember, Nikki, sorry.
All right. No, it was just a curiosity.
Yeah.
To be fair. So throughout all of that, there must have been quite challenging times then, Sharon, that you've gone, right, how am I going to overcome this? Was there anything in particular that stands out?
A few things, yeah. I think the main thing for me was loneliness.
Yeah.
I actually felt really, really lonely. I mean, I'm 48, I've got a circle of close friends. They're younger than me or weren't experiencing the symptoms. And it was so confusing. I went on to Dr. Google and was reading so much information. I was doing some online courses. I was feeding myself with all this knowledge and information, but then had nobody to talk it through with, or share that experience with, or and it got really hard. It really did. It was really quite challenging to not have anyone around to chat to.
That's it, because even just offloading that from you, just for someone else to say, yeah, I've experienced that too, it means so much, doesn't it?
It does, and it's also, well, the person that unfortunately did get it all was my husband, and I'm in a house with 2 sons as well. So then it became really important to me to share with them that at these periods, mum's hormonal. She's not crazy, she's not mad, and I didn't want to feed into the stereotypes there. So my poor husband, yeah, really had to sit and listen to the information, and I was like, what's your thoughts on this, and help me with this, or do you know, you noticing this in me? But yeah, I mean, friends would talk to me, but it was, if they hadn't experienced it. And then I felt initially as well, a lot of people were like straight on HRT, get HRT, get HRT. And I was like, no, I want to do, it was a variety of reasons. And I wanted to try and explore it holistically for myself initially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, that's my next challenge, was honouring that curiosity within me, because a lot of people, when I did then reach out and start to speak to others, they were like, get HRT, get HRT.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I maybe will, but just not yet.
And
Sorry?
Yeah, just absolutely in your own time. You know, you weren't ready to explore that route, and it isn't the only route. Like you just said, you know, there is the holistic route, looking at, you know, your diet, your movement, your general lifestyle, your stress management, all of those things. So, what did you discover then, Sharon, when you went down that route? Did you make quite a lot of changes?
They were quite recent, the changes that I made in terms of my lifestyle.
Hmm.
But going back to my challenges, like
Hmm.
the way I overcame that loneliness was I set up my own peer support group.
Yeah.
Decided, do you know what? If nobody's here to do it, I'm just going to put it out there and see if other people come. Totally out my comfort zone, but that's something that's been a real help for me and others in my local community. So, um, by setting that really gave me that sense of community, and we could share together what we were going through and learn from each other. And I really want to help women understand that this can be a positive transition.
Absolutely.
And I know there's lots of challenges within it, and I'm just at the very start, being in perimenopause, and I know this can last a number of years. Um, but for me, I think it's so important to treat this stage of life with curiosity, and don't be afraid to try and express yourself in other ways. Like, up to this point I was very much a people pleaser,
Yeah.
and I would do everything and anything for everyone else. And now I'm a wee bit, I think that's attributed to being menopausal, is no, do you know what? No, it's okay to say no.
Mhm.
And, I'm going to focus on what I feel is going to benefit me and my emotions. So I actually took up spontaneous dance.
Amazing.
So that was something that really helped me to express my emotions and help me to, figure out the irrational mind that I had at the time. And a lot of the times I was just exhausted,
Yeah.
and it was just like I just lay there.
Mm.
Other times I would go and I would shout and scream. If there was anger, there was frustration building up, I would allow that to come out through movement and through dance. Um, and it was all that Kundalini yoga. I tried a bit of yoga. I tried a bit of what else have I got? I think now there was a few different other things that I tried, but they've escaped me. And yeah, so going back to the HRT then. So yeah, that was a wee bit of a bumpy road
Mhm.
for me. As I said, that was one of my challenges, was accepting of that you can have a bit of medical intervention here.
Yeah.
And it is safe enough to do it at your age and your stage, and you don't have any other, you know, major health things happening genetically for your family.
Yeah.
Um, so that though took me a good year and a half, just over a year, before I felt ready to start having those conversations with the GP.
Okay.
And I'm lucky in the sense that when I did decide to have it, they were supportive. The lady that I spoke to was kind of on the fence. She felt like there was a bit of, I think you should try antidepressants first, and then you can try the HRT.
Yeah.
But when I explained that, look, I want to be able to feel, I want to be able to express, so I'd like to try the HRT, please.
Good for
And
you.
she was, yeah, supportive of it. But then she interestingly referred me to the GP's pharmacist.
Okay.
And she said, right, I want you to speak to her next, get your blood pressure taken, and yeah, and just let her know what preparation you want. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, great. I'll do that then. So when I phoned up to check that, because I thought, pharmacist doing blood pressure? That's a bit unusual.
Yeah.
And then I was told, no, that's the nurse that does that. You need to go to your nurse. So again, really grateful for that nurse. She was very kind, and she actually took bloods from me just to rule out, thyroid, diabetes, if they make sure there wasn't anything else underlying. The GP didn't offer me that.
Okay.
Um, and those bloods came up that I was low in folate acid.
Yeah.
So I started supplementing with that and really felt a difference actually quite quickly with my cognitive thinking process.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I got the prescription and I thought, yes, I've got it. And then I went to the pharmacy to be told, we don't have it.
Oh, yeah, sure it is.
That was then, yeah, so that was really stressful. You
Mhm.
know, you have to then phone about all the pharmacists,
Right.
check online to see if anyone's got it in stock. And because it was one prescription, I had to get I'm on estrogel and utigestin.
Yeah.
And the pharmacist had the gel, but they didn't have the utigestin. So
Yeah.
they're like, we can't give you the gel without the utigestin. So I had to go back to the GP and get them to split it so that I could take the prescription to the other place. So yeah, that all was a bit of a bumpy ride, but got it. Started it about, I think I'm about 6 months in now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, feeling like it's taken the edge off things for me. But I have had to also just recently make a lot more lifestyle decisions and choices. I've found myself a coach and she's really helped me to be accountable, and I do a group programme now where I'm exercising 3 mornings at least, 6 a.m. workouts. That
Amazing.
works out for me to get up at that time when you've got a house of kids and animals. So yeah, I've always been active, but I must admit in the last couple of years when I had the knee joint pains and I was just like, I was got no inclined to do any movement and it was painful. So I think especially when I started HRT, it definitely reduced that and it allowed me then to start exercising. So do a lot of like strength and do stretching. Still working up to cardio.
Yeah.
I do the odd cardio class, but a lot of it's, upper body, lower body strength, stretch. And then also I've been doing, what do you call it again, the PFC diet. So I'm trying to increase more proteins, fats, and the complex carbohydrates in
Okay.
each meal
Mm-hmm.
to help balance out my blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you that's another side effect. Like I've got a sweet tooth now that I never
Yeah.
used to have. I don't know what that is, but yeah. So that's been a bit of a change for me in the last few months. I've really focused on, what I'm eating and trying to see food as the benefits that I'm getting out of that food. It's not about counting calories for me. I'm not really interested in calorie counting.
Yeah. It's saying food is fuel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather, um, this is what's going to help me lose all this extra weight that I've put on. Absolutely.
Oh, I've got the belly fat as well. I never mentioned that. I definitely, but that is what it is. And I know that it's temporary, and I
Yeah.
know I will get it off eventually. And I've done a lot of work on myself personally, like spiritually as well, and just around, body identity and body image. And so it's for me, it's just being grateful for that. It's actually, I feel like coming to this stage in life is a privilege,
Absolutely. Yeah.
an absolute privilege. And yeah, I think it's also an opportunity to maybe stop, reflect. What is serving me and what isn't serving me anymore?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then I feel like, right, let's where do I want to go from here? So
Yeah.
I've used this stage. I mean, I've joined the local community choir. I'm
Brilliant.
doing painting. I'm going to do some painting. I've done some creative writing classes. So I'm really looking for broader, holistic ways to expand my mind, I feel like, or manage my symptoms
Mm.
that aren't just relying fully on the medical model, as it really does. I mean, I literally was to the day that I was supposed to start my progestogen, it was the day I got it.
Okay.
And I thought, see, if I don't get it, I'm not going to, that's fine. I'm not meant to have it. But I got the phone call and they said, here it is. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm on the fence still. Will I continue? But I am seeing small benefits and I feel that it is certainly helping me to balance out my mood and take away the joint pain. So as long as that continues and I can continue to access it without too much stress, I'll keep going.
Yeah, and absolutely. The long-term effects are on your health is massive. So if you can keep it going, then absolutely, it's the best thing. But no, that's really, really interesting because I think self-care in so many ways, like how you were saying, just discovering who Sharon is and what Sharon wants, is just so important for our mental health in general. Because as women, naturally, we're, wives and mothers, and everybody else comes first and then we come last. And we put ourselves in that position a lot. And then you go, oh, all of a sudden, it's like a rediscovery phase, isn't it?
Definitely, and that's why, like I said, it's about curiosity for me, and unleashing my creativity.
Yeah.
I feel like for many years I've been a mother, I've been a carer, I've given to everyone else, and now I'm coming into my 50s nearly. I'm thinking, right, how do I want to spend the next 40 years?
Yeah.
What am I going to do next? Where am I going? What really lights me up? What brings me pleasure? What brings me joy? Is definitely where I'm heading. I don't want to, age is just a number, and I don't feel sometimes in society it can be quite draining, and if you listen too much to social media or just generally speaking, I suppose, you can get quite low about your age and
Yeah.
think that you're out to pasture and you're not able to contribute anything. But I feel like this is my crone years, this is my wise years.
Yes.
I'm really going into that and really exploring that. I do journaling a lot as well, so I journal most days, gratitude, stuff like that. Self-care is really important to me as well, and sometimes that is just going out for a walk in nature. I love being in nature.
Yeah.
Other times it's self-pleasure. I and enjoy doing stuff like that as well. And it's just been able to balance that and just be curious, right, what's next? What's the next stage of my life going to bring? Where am I going now?
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad it's so positive, Sharon. So on the, sort of wise years stage, what advice would you give to other women then who are maybe already, have entered the perimenopause stage, or who are just slightly younger, haven't experienced it yet? Any advice you would give them?
I know. For me, I think it's about try and keep this in perspective. I know it might be, it is very challenging, and boy, do I have low days and high days. And for me, I think it's really important to educate yourself. Educate yourself on the menstrual cycle. Learn about the role that the hormones play in your body. Get to know your body. Listen to your body. And don't be feared to ask for help and support. It is out there. You just don't give up hope. And don't always believe what the medical profession tell you as well. I feel like, I get told I couldn't take HRT because I had higher blood pressure, which I then know isn't true. High blood pressure, you need to be careful and manage, but mine wasn't at a risk where it was a contraindication to me taking HRT. So do your own research, trust your own judgment, and don't be scared to try new things.
Wonderful, Sharon. I think that's all such great advice. And yeah, I would definitely second everything that you've just said.
Great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so, so much for coming on to today's show. And yeah, take care and we'll speak again soon.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to Menopause Unplugged. I hope you found the conversation to be informative, enlightening, and empowering. Remember, menopause is a natural part of a woman's life journey, but it doesn't have to be a lonely one. Whether you're experiencing perimenopause or menopause, my menopause coaching program can provide reassurance and guidance. Please do reach out to me through my contact details on the show description. And until next time, take care.